Okay, so hot chili salt is actually a fairly straightforward, easy product to make. I'm using this year Fatali because I have a nice red Fatali and yellow Fatali. They're quite hot. So what I've done is I've dehydrated a couple, a red Fatali and a yellow Fatali, and I went to a bulk store and I got kosher salt, which is a very coarse salt, like a rock salt. So I'm hoping that in the end what I have is a salt that's more salt-like in consistency. So I'm going to put the pieces in. First of all, I'm going to just quickly try to pulverize them. I'm using my magic bullet. I don't want to powderize them. I already know what this is going to be like. Okay, and I've got the salt. Just pour the salt in over it. I can almost shake it up. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Ooh, smoke coming out of it. Here. And, oh, it is powdered. Oh. Okay, that's fine. And I'll say that it's that you can use it in place of salt, but you'd have to use it a little bit more sparingly than you would because it's so salty. But it would probably be good on French fries or popcorn or stuff like that. Maybe garlic toast, something that you wouldn't ordinarily think of, and you can make it a nice little hot treat. Yeah, it's very salty and it's got a nice bite to it too. So that's chili salt, very good for using your chilies for the winter. Okay, so I am going to be pickling some peppers, and I have a nice assortment of peppers, different shapes and colors and sizes. You can see that's how I chose them actually, and none of them are extremely hot because I don't want to taint all of them with that heat, because I think maybe somebody else in the family might like them if I don't make them super hot. So I am just going to be doing one jar, and the jar is 1 liter, and just like this one, but I have it boiling in here in the water, and it's going for 15 minutes or more. That's fine, just to make sure it's all sterilized. Its main ingredients are vinegar, water, and pickling salt. Those are the ingredients, and it's 4 to 1, 4 parts of vinegar to 1 part of water. What I'm going to be doing is 4 cups altogether, so that's 3 1/4 cups of vinegar, and it could be any kind of vinegar that you like, as long as it's 5% acid, because that is what actually pickles will pickle the fruit and will ensure that there's no chance of botulism. There's no chance of it. And so that's what I have now: 3 1/4 cups of vinegar, and then 3/4 of a cup of water, just like that. And here's the pickling salt. The most important thing about the pickling salt is that it doesn't have iodine in it. Now this isn't part of the pickling process, it's just to give it a little bit of flavor, and pickling salt is very salty, much saltier than regular salt, table salt, and it has no iodine in it, because iodine will ruin the color of the, it'll darken the vinegar. So you don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to put in 1 tablespoon, just like that. Just get this up a little bit. And I'm going to pour this in. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and once it's boiling, I'll turn down the heat and just let it simmer just below boiling for about 15 minutes. Okay, so it is starting to come to a boil now. It is boiling, and so at this point I'm just going to turn it down because I don't want it to keep boiling. I just want it to start. Okay. And now I have to process the peppers. Okay, so this is a perfect time to start working on this because I have about 15 minutes or so while the vinegar simmers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 deep slits into each one of the peppers. So I have hot cherry bomb, just like this. I have Scotch bonnets, I have a couple fatale, I have a hot paper lantern, I have some cayenne, I have some Bulgarian carrot, and I have some super chilies. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to process all of them. I'm going to put 2 slits in each one so that the pickling mixture will be able to get right inside the pepper. It'll take about a month or so, and then it'll be pickled all the way through. Okay, so I've taken the jar out of the water. I have the vinegar simmering. I've made the slots into all the peppers, and now I just, it's still extremely hot. Now I just, I'm going to drop the peppers in. You don't want to have any sticking up because they all have to be in the pickling, mixture in order to work. Okay, so there you go, and that's it. Once the pickling mixture is finished simmering, then I'll just be pouring it over. Okay, so this is ready to go. Let's turn this off, and what I'll do is I will spoon this right in. Just like this. Okay, so I'm just filling it to about 1/2 inch from the top. And now, just to make sure that all of the bubbles escape, and you can see there are a lot of bubbles there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Wow, that's a lot of bubbles. I'm just pushing against it. And I've got a wooden skewer that I'm using because I don't want to take a chance on cracking the glass, which could happen if you're using a knife or something metal. All these little ones keep popping up to the top. Get that down. Stop that. Get down. Okay. You know I'm going to put a little bit more in there. Actually. And that's why I did 4 cups. I wanted to make sure that there's going to be enough. I'm going to pull out these ones that are not going to be sitting in the... Oh, that was really hot! Okay. Are we rolling yet? Okay, so now what I do is I'm just going to put the seal back on, and I'm going to give this a good tighten here. Okay, and I'm going to place it back into the water, and I'm going to let it boil in the water for water displacement, a very important concept to remember. And I'm just going to let it boil in here for 15 minutes, and that will ensure that there's no possibility of botulism. That will keep it completely sterilized. And that's it. Once that's done, I'll just take it out, and I'll just let it cool, and it'll probably be cooling overnight, and that'll seal, and it doesn't have to be refrigerated until you open it. And that's a good way to preserve peppers for winter use. Okay, so my top method of preserving my peppers so I can make use of them through the winter is to dehydrate them and then grind them up into a spice that I can add to everything that I'm cooking. And that's what I use for most of my peppers, actually. So I just have an assortment of peppers here, just a sampling. I have my 7 pods, I have some fatale, I have some brown scorpions and cayenne, and just to give a sampling or an example of how I dehydrate them. I do have my dehydrator, so here's a tray from the dehydrator. I have that sitting beside me. The dehydrator itself is set up and ready to go, and it's a good process. So by the time that I get all the trays loaded up, to dehydrate the peppers takes about 18 hours. So it's quite a lengthy process. Now, what I do is I always cut them open, and just like this. And this is, of course, a Scotch bonnet. So I'll cut them open, and I'll take this. And what I do is I want to take the seeds out, and I have 2 reasons for that. One, and I'm wearing latex gloves, as you can see. They're very inexpensive. It's a couple dollars for 10 pairs. I like to take the seeds right out because I don't really like the taste of seeds. They're kind of a musty, grainy taste that I do not like. And so I don't want to grind them up because I can always tell when that's happened. They don't really have any heat on their own, so yes, this is tedious, but in the end it's much better. Now I'm putting them directly onto a paper towel, and I've written down on it Red Scotch bonnets from 2010 because I want to dry up the seeds so that I have them for next year. And you know, sometimes people do ask me if I could send them seeds, and I usually don't mind doing that, actually. So I like to have lots of seeds. So what I do is I clean it right up like that, and then I place it down right on the tray, and I will fill up the tray. And the one thing that you do have to keep in mind when you're doing this is, because I made mistakes in the past, that after they're dehydrated, they all look like this. Basically, they look like this. You know, so it's kind of hard to tell them apart. So you do want to make sure that on every tray you separate them so that you won't have any trouble telling which one is which. So basically, that's the most important thing that I'd want to mention to you. And that's it. After this, once it's full, I put it on the dehydrator. Then I'll let it go. Then afterwards, I'll just take them and I'll grind them up in the magic bullet, which you have seen me use already in this video. And that's it. I keep them separated, and then what I do is I have the powder in different places, and then I mix and match, and I make different flavored and different heat. I make powders, spices of different heat levels for different purposes. So that's it. That's my top method, and that's what I do with most of the peppers that I pull from my garden. Okay, so thanks very much.